From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, January the 31st, 2017. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington on February the 15th. White House spokesman Sean Spicer told the press yesterday that Trump looks forward to discussing strategic, technological, military, and intelligence cooperation with the Prime Minister, adding our relationship with the only democracy in the Middle East is crucial to the security of both our nations. Netanyahu released a statement in response saying, "I deeply appreciate President Trump's kind invitation to come to Washington and the warm words about Israel." He said, "I look forward to discussing with him the areas of cooperation between us that are so vital to the security and well-being of our two countries." The American Embassy in Tel Aviv responded to a request for clarification from Israel regarding the recent executive order by President Trump banning the entry to the U.S. of individuals from 7 predominantly Muslim countries for 90 days. The concern is regarding the tens of thousands of Israelis born in Arab countries that are included on that list. The embassy said today that as long as those Israelis have valid visas, they would be allowed to enter the U.S. With one stipulation, the embassy said, if you have a currently valid U.S. visa in your Israeli passport and you were born in Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, or Yemen, and do not have a valid passport from one of these countries, your visa was not canceled and remains valid. Residents of the Jewish settlement of Amona have been given their evacuation orders. The West Bank outpost is set for a court-ordered demolition on February the 8th. The eviction notice was signed yesterday, and the IDF was already blocking off roads to prepare for it. Residents have 48 hours to leave. However, the order also allows residents to file a new appeal to the IDF for a 48-hour extension, which would make the evacuation for Saturday or possibly Sunday at the latest. Back in 2014, Amona was ruled by Israel's Supreme Court to have been illegally constructed on private Palestinian land. And today in Israel's Knesset, the controversial settlements or regulation bill narrowly passed another round. The legislation seeks to legalize Jewish settlements like Amona, built on private Palestinian land, stating that the constructed homes being questioned were built in good faith without the knowledge that they were built on Palestinian property. The bill faces 2 more rounds in the Knesset on Monday, which, if approved, would make the bill law. Palestinian elections will reportedly take place this coming spring. French news agency AFP reports that Palestinian Authority Government Minister Hussein al-Araj told them that local elections will take place on May the 13th. Elections have been postponed and canceled a number of times over the last few years between rival parties Fatah, who control the Palestinians in the West Bank, and terror group Hamas, who control Gaza. Hamas spokesman Fawzi Baroum said the group rejected the Fatah decision about the new election date, and it is likely that elections might only take place in the West Bank. A high-level meeting between Israeli representatives and the European Union is set to take place next month. The EU-Israel Association Council will meet on February the 28th in Brussels, after a 5-year hiatus. Israel's Foreign Ministry spokesman Emmanuel Nachshon said this is an extremely positive development, which will enable Israel and the EU to deepen the relations on a wide array of issues. Israel will be represented by Regional Cooperation Minister Tzachi Hanegbi at the meeting. The EU will be represented by its Foreign Policy Chief, Federica Mogherini. Israel's National Library said that it has acquired what is thought of as the world's greatest private collection of Hebrew books and manuscripts. The Valmadana Trust Library contains thousands of items and is said to be worth millions of dollars. It was collected over decades by London collector Jack Lunzer and entrusted to Sotheby's auction house in New York back in 2009. The collection, which includes rare pieces dating as far back as the 10th century, will go on display when the library opens its new building in Jerusalem in 2020. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, January the 31st. At 7 o'clock, the American Jewish Committee honors Women of Courage. At 8, author Tanir Oxman and New Yorker contributor Liana Fink discuss how female Jewish cartoonists address the Jewish community's portrayal of women in a program of the American Jewish Historical Society. At 9 o'clock tonight, we mark 2 anniversaries that took place on February the 1st with 2 L'chaim interviews. In 2002, the kidnapping and murder of Jewish journalist Daniel Pearl, and a year later, on February the 1st, the Columbia tragedy, which took the lives of 7 astronauts, including Israel's first astronaut, Ilan Ramon. Mark Golub sits down with Pearl's father, Judea Pearl, on the first L'chaim tonight, and then with filmmaker Dan Cohen, whose film An Article of Hope talks about Ramon. And at 10 tonight, author and psychologist Alon Grach talks with the New York Times' Joseph Berger about the unique Israeli identity in a program of the AJC Westchester, Westchester Jewish Council, and Rosenthal JCC from Scarsdale, New York. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's In the News with Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, January the 31st, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.